Hey everyone, welcome back to the Environmental Podcast. My name's Aaron. I'm here with my friend Alicia, and today we're going
Hi,
to
everybody.
Hi Alicia. Today we're going to be kind of interviewing each other in an attempt to share some of our personality while also covering several topics.
Yeah, so seeing our views on a few different things. Might get a little bit deep.
Might get a little bit gossipy, controversial.
Who knows?
We might have an argument. We don't know.
Yes, we haven't previewed these questions to one another, so we don't know what's going to happen.
We've each come up with approximately 10 questions, and the only thing I know about Alicia's is that they're a mix of goofy and profound, I think.
Yes.
How are you feeling today, Alicia? This isn't the first question. Let's just
Okay, we're just going to kind of
give some background.
Yeah. I'm feeling good. I woke up really early, made chili.
Oh, yeah, I do that sometimes in the mornings, too.
Well, it was slow cooker chili, so it had to cook throughout the day. Yeah, that's what I did
It's
early
a very
this morning.
nice, sunny spring weekend we've been having.
Yeah, it's been very
5-6 degrees. It's been a great break from all the smudge.
Yeah, I went for a 3-hour walk yesterday. I just kind of left, went to get coffee, but then I just didn't stop until I hit the gym, and then I went for a run, and then came home. Yeah, but it was a fun day yesterday.
Nice.
What
have you been up to this week?
This week, we were home for a break.
Right.
So we went snowshoeing, sledding.
Mm-hmm.
It's very icy. Just doing a lot of podcast work. We were working on getting our graphics really cleaned up, working on our graphic design skills, I guess.
It's fun. I like working on that, though. I feel like we are disseminating environmental information through visuals, which is essentially what we kind of want to be doing with our lives in various different avenues. Mm-hmm. So last week, we did the episode on Hesiod and his 5 ages of mankind, that old Greek myth. And did you have any thoughts on that episode? Anything you wanted to talk about? Anything basically we forgot to mention during the recording?
After reading it, I kind of just assumed I was the one who was ignorant for not knowing it. But then when looking for pages to maybe share the podcast with, I found there weren't many other people who knew about Hesiod's 5 ages of man.
Well, like we said on the episode, who knows Hesiod anyway?
Yeah.
We know Homer, we know Socrates, we know Plato and Aristotle and the playwrights, but who's talking about Hesiod?
No one, I guess.
That's what we're doing. But at the end of that episode, we said, so next week we're going to be talking about ecology and religion.
Yes.
But we're not doing that today.
No, that's because it's a topic that we both have a lot to say on, and because we were home having a bunch of fun this week, we weren't able to really concentrate our thoughts to be able to record this weekend.
Basically, we're not prepared and we wanted another week to learn more about it.
Exactly.
For me, anyway.
What else?
So today we wanted to go interview style because we are kind of probably covering similar topics to we usually do, but in a different format, different presentation, and in a way that will have us talking about different things.
Yeah.
Who wants to ask the first question?
You started the episode, so I get to ask the first question.
Okay.
I'm not going to start off with a light one. I'm just going to go in order.
Okay.
Why not? My first one is, what is your biggest fear? Aaron?
So do you mean something really tangible or like a concept? Do you mean like a physical thing I have nightmares about, or... Yeah.
We're going to do both. So like a tangible thing, so
okay.
like a kind of horror thing, and then a worry.
I get you. I mean, the scariest thing is the spider.
The 8-legged menace?
8-legged freaks, as the movie goes. I have a pretty bad arachnophobia, I guess. I really don't like spiders. I don't mind them when they're kind of indistinguishable from other insects. So when they're really small, it's like, oh, okay, that's basically an ant. I don't mind it. But when it gets to the point where you can see the legs, and especially, I've only never seen one in the wild, but if you get to the point where you can see the eyes, I will die. I think if I ever saw a beast like that, let me tell you, I think it's something about spiders, big spiders being, I know they're like insects, but almost being like mammalian because they have hair and they have so many eyes.
Yeah.
They creep me out. Oh.
So much. Anyway, what's your biggest worry or what's something that looms over you or you think about often?
Spiders.
Okay.
I don't know. That's a really heavy one. There's a lot of negative stuff that could happen, so
yeah.
I try not to. Nothing really looms over me.
Okay. Besides spiders.
Yeah, I try and be more optimistic.
What's your question for me, mister?
Okay, so you started off with... Did you say that was one on the heavier side?
I'm just going down my list. Yeah, it's kind of in the middle.
I'll start with a slow one. What is your spirit animal?
I would normally say like a cat or something, or a dog, because those like the
domestic.
ones where, yeah, but
Something
I'm
you've
gonna
had a lot
think,
of experience with.
yeah, because I haven't really met many animals.
Mm-hmm. This could be the visuals of the animal. It could be its kind of cultural significance. It could be some kind of anthropomorphized personality that you bestow onto it.
Oh.
Like in cartoons, how the elephant is always kind of slow and old, and the rabbit's always, you know what I mean?
Why is this one so hard for me?
I don't know. I thought it'd be an easy one.
I really like sheep,
Hmm.
but I don't have much experience with the sheep, the humble sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say either a sheep or a chicken, just because I really like them.
Yeah, you do like chickens.
I do.
So something farmyard, basically.
Yeah, because I feel like in my dream life I would be living on a farm. So if I was an animal, I'd definitely be living on a farm.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
Being your wool being used to make clothes.
Yeah. There we go. The fashion animal, the sheep.
Yeah. The most fashionable animal.
I saw a picture the other day of a sheep that like ran away and didn't get sheared for like 10 years, then was found again.
Oh no.
It was so heavy.
Doesn't that become unhealthy for them or something like that?
Yeah, because they weigh like 10 times their weight.
But is that a human...
it must be some kind of genetic modification or like...
Yeah. Because that can't be the
domesticating
natural thing for them to be...
No.
I saw a video of someone shearing a sheep incredibly fast. Like he was kind of rolling it around in his hands and in his arms. So I guess sheep's kind of, they usually struggle when they're being sheared.
Really?
Not out of pain, but just because out of fright, and they don't realize that it will
help them.
Even though they walk out of it usually feeling really good. I guess they feel kind of skittish usually, even among the best like sheep handlers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one was pretty comfy, and he was just rolling it around and like shearing it kind of like you would like slice one of those spinning meats.
Interesting. Anyway, so I guess my spirit animal is a sheep.
Okay.
So my next question for you is, what is one change you can make to make your lifestyle more sustainable?
Me could make? Or like everyone?
You.
Oh.
And not like you could in theory, something that like you...
I should?
You should.
Okay.
So not like cut meat out because you couldn't.
I could. I will say I could buy more things from our local zero waste grocery store. Because one of my roommates is kind of zero waste, so he buys a lot of stuff from there.
Yeah, so he's going anyway. You could give him a grocery list or something.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine it's not that much more expensive, and it's not, I mean, it's kind of out the way, but it's mostly just inconvenience is the reason I don't.
Yeah.
But I guess I do produce a lot of unnecessary waste from the things I buy.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be it.
That's a good answer. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. I went to the grocery store to buy like vegetables, and I always want the sale vegetables, but for some reason when like a green pepper goes on sale, they wrap it in plastic wrap, and I'm like, so I'm not going to buy that. It's just frustrating.
We don't want to be, or rather, I don't want to be, I guess, like preaching things that I don't practice.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know.
Well, we're both
the thing with the sale vegetable, the sale bell pepper, is that it's in the plastic bag no matter what if you buy it.
That's true. So the plastic's gonna be thrown out either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair. And it's also like reducing waste, because otherwise the green pepper would be thrown out if it wasn't reduced. True. It's a cycle. I just wish they would just put them in a different bin or something. Yeah. I know that wouldn't work. And consumer behavior does make incredible change. So like buying from the zero waste stores and those kind of things will make the big stores more sustainable. Like, yeah, because I didn't think that at first when we got like the zero waste. It's like an all zero waste store here. I was like, this is kind of like everything's super high price, like it's not going to make that big of a difference. But in the last 3 years, I've seen the other grocery stores start to reduce their waste.
They do.
So it's like, I guess
they chase the profits, they chase the consumers,
they
chase the customers.
Anyway.
My question for you is very similar. It's what would you like to change about yourself? But it doesn't have to be environmental.
Yeah.
I know you'd like to grow.
Yeah, my goal is to grow a couple more inches. I've been working on making a lot of changes recently in my life. So I'm going to the gym more, reading more, trying to become a better person all around.
Good for you.
I think one area that I have yet to set a tangible goal for is my patterns. I think it'd be easy because I live above a grocery store, so I can just reduce my waste by
most
buying
of it
as
just
I
comes
need it
down
and
to
stuff.
planning better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Most of my waste comes down to oh, I bought this thing because I was just walking around the grocery store without a
list
or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. And you see it on sale, or you're like, well, I could make something out of this.
Yeah.
And I think I just need to, what I eat, and it's mainly food that I have waste from, I think.
Cool.
So yeah, that's one thing I want to change. Is my
similar for both of us.
Yeah. So what is one thing people should do more of, and what is one thing people should do less of? Just people at large.
Completely in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know how broad I want to go with that. I will say we should do... it would be boring if I said we should get off the internet more or do less screen time, because we say that in every episode. Yeah. I'm going to say we should do less judging of other people. I'm very guilty of this myself. Like, you see people, and even if we think we're being good people, and we think like, oh, it's okay to judge people, it really isn't. We shouldn't judge people by how they seem or even what they do, because that's not really our job.
No,
right?
It isn't our job, right?
So yeah, I would say we should do less judging people, and that will just make everyone more kind and trusting and open, I guess.
Exactly. I feel like it would make you more free to even be yourself more, because you're, yeah.
True. In a similar vein, we should do less judging people and be more empathetic.
Okay.
So even if someone does something which our first instinct is to condemn, we should try and put ourselves in their shoes and, yeah, show more empathy.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that would make us all more connected.
That's true.
You agree with those?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I didn't put too much thought into all these questions for my own answers.
I see.
So I was just hoping you would have something to say.
Okay. I'll do... Which podcast episode are you most looking forward to making in the future?
I'm really looking forward to the ecology and religion one.
Oh, that's lazy. That's next week's episode.
Blech.
Pick a different one.
Okay, I'm looking forward to doing one where we plan out like our dream city.
Mm-hmm.
Or one where we kind of maybe really far down the road when we announce some kind of big like advance in the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those will be fun. So
Yeah, 'cause I
basically
feel like
the more kind of conceptual, idea-based ones.
Yeah, ones that we're going to actually like take tangible actions to make them happen.
Yeah, the blueprint episodes.
Yeah.
That's what we can call them.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to those. We can't do them right yet, because now it's more just like laying a foundation, but down the road we'll start expressing our dreams and then reporting on the progress of making them happen.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, so my next question for you, question number 4, is what is your dream job or career? So I don't mean like teacher, but I mean like for you, what's a way you would like to spend a few years of your life, career or job wise, like your goal?
I'm going to sound really entitled when I say this, but I want to always be doing multiple things.
I mean, like what's the thing you're most excited about?
I guess I'm really excited to work on films. I don't know if that would be as a director or like a cinematographer or even a writer. I really like movies, Hollywood movies, indie movies, foreign films. I think I'd be good at it and I would really enjoy it. So yeah,
cool.
In movies.
Nice.
If you were studying one thing,
okay,
so kind of studying it scientifically for the rest of your life, so you had to do that and you couldn't embark on other career options, what would be the one thing you study? I'd
say like sociology.
So your work has to consist of doing research, maybe writing papers on it, and maybe later on in your life teaching on it. Yeah. I mean, it can just be science.
Is sociology and anthropology like in that?
Yeah, it can be like any academic discipline, I mean, but you'd have to be studying it. You
okay,
be doing other stuff.
Then. Because I feel like that's what I'm most interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Just figuring out why people do things, how they interact. I'd like to do studies on that.
Yeah.
Because then you could work on the environment or spirituality or whatever realm of the human connection to one another and these things.
I took a sociology course in my first year in university.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't enjoy it. It was a lot of kind of case studies of like foreign kind of anthropology and talking about how when people were first exploring the earth and things like that, it wasn't much current. So, but yeah, that would be the cool thing to study. Yeah.
Is that what you would do as well, or what do you think you'd do?
I think I'd really get bored with anything scientific as much as I like nature. Even I would even say like energy, more efficient energy methods or anything, but then we're getting into engineering rather than the science of it, rather than the actual physics. I'd probably, I mean, that's kind of a cop-out there because you're just saying people.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, yeah, I'll do that same cop-out.
Okay.
People.
Fair. Okay, my next question for you, it's a two-part. So one's going to be on writing, one's going to be on reading. So do you prefer poetry, prose, or plays?
I like reading plays the most.
Okay. Which do you prefer writing the most?
Poems, but I like when poems and plays kind of overlap, or when they mix with each other.
Okay.
I'm less clear on that one. I don't know. I definitely most prefer reading plays because it's just the plot. It's just the story without any of the boring kind of description. Sometimes even when I'm reading regular books, this is really bad of me, but I'll just skip paragraphs if I can tell there's no dialogue,
Yeah.
or no action. If it's just description, I'll just skip to the dialogue. I have a really really bad attention span, I guess. But I love plays, and I especially love reading plays out loud and kind of doing the voices a little bit, especially Shakespeare. I like reading poems as well, but I've never really sat down and been like, I'm going to get into some poems, because I feel like the point of poems is that you don't read them en masse, you kind of read them individually.
Yeah.
I also like how plays tend to be shorter than
Novels.
than big novels, yeah.
Cool. I didn't know that about you. I knew you liked writing poetry, but I didn't know which you preferred to read.
Yeah. I like writing poetry for the same reason I don't like reading prose so much, because I find it hard to write a ton of description.
Yeah.
And poetry is just, it seems more instinctive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I think it's more concise.
Anyway, enough on me.
Okay.
I have a two-part question for you as well.
Alrighty.
The first part is, how does nature make you feel when you're in it? And the second part is, what's your favorite type of nature to be in and around?
Ooh, I was going to ask a similar question to you, but then I was like, then I decided not to.
That's lame.
So I'm glad you asked it. I feel inspired when I'm in nature. I'm inspired by a lot of things, but nature's the number one thing.
What do you mean inspired?
It's an innate sense of empowerment and creativity, which comes from being in nature, I think.
I like that. Because
I feel energized,
mm-hmm.
which I don't feel from much else. Like, I'll read, I'll look at paintings, I'll paint, I'll do whatever, but it's like none of it energizes me the way nature does.
I like that you mentioned creativity.
Yeah.
Because I find there's basically a dichotomy between being in nature, which I would associate with peace, and being in the industrial world, which I'd associate with just constant inundation and a lot of distraction. And those things seem like, that's a lot of sources of inspiration and things you can creatively draw from, but I find the opposite when I'm more in peace and I can focus and practice appreciation, I guess.
Yeah.
Slow down a little bit more. I find I'm more creative.
I know what you mean by being in like the industrial world, how you could say, well, yes, this could bring about a lot of inspiration, but I feel like it's more of a negative inspiration. It's like how Crime and Punishment was probably written in the Soviet Union. It was just like you're experiencing a lot of hardships, and then you write this piece of work out of your hardships, but that's not what nature inspires. Nature inspires more
beauty and appreciation. Like there's different, everyone has different creative processes. So some people like loudness. I do sometimes. It depends what you're doing, really. One thing, again, you mentioned like on the creativity line of thinking, it's kind of a religious idea but nature is kind of the first original creation, the first work of art, we could say. So I like the idea that any human poem, play, painting, whatever it may be, is kind of in some way a loose, stylized adaptation of nature or some part of it.
Yeah.
That's why I like being in there, because you're getting as close as you can to the original source material.
Yeah, it's very well put.
Yeah.
So
I practice saying that.
What type of nature do I like to be in? I used to think I didn't like being near the ocean or anything like that, because I grew up like 5 minutes from a beach, and I was always like, why do people like this so much? Like I never liked the colors or anything. But then once I got into photography and started like capturing it at different times of the day, like a golden hour, like first thing in the morning or like late at night, I started to find a real appreciation for the ocean. So I guess.
And you work on a boat?
Yeah.
It's docked, but
it's a docked boat that doesn't move, but I work on a boat in the summers. So yeah, I always was like, no, I'm not an ocean type of person. But then I was like, there's so many different oceans that are just completely different. Like even the east and west coast of Canada, it's like these are two different places basically.
Yeah.
And we went to Mexico and I was like, we're in the ocean right now, like it's warm.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think, yeah, so like near the coast, not necessarily on a beach, but just the coast.
I agree. I love being by the water, but again, it's because I've lived here and I haven't lived in a jungle or beneath mountains.
That's
or
true.
anything like that. But yeah, I love water. It feels very... It puts
so
a lot of things
dynamic.
into perspective for me.
Yeah.
I like the beaches that are really kind of rocky and dark, and it feels like you're standing on the edge of the world.
Yes, I like rocky beaches as well. Sand,
Sand,
take it or leave
it's
it.
too glamorous.
Yes. But I also, like, I haven't been to a jungle, as you said. I think I would fall in love.
Me too.
And mountains, I think
I really
the
wanna
second
go
we
to
live near a mountain, I'm going to be not moving.
I want to go on a safari. I think I'd be a safari kind of person.
Yeah.
Like in Jurassic Park, kind of.
This is randomly the third time you mentioned that movie today.
Yes, I like
Saw
it.
someone like out and about and you're like, they look like they're in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I like that movie.
Is it my turn to ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is something you think I could improve on?
Podcast related?
Anything.
You could exercise more.
Yeah.
You know this though.
I do.
That sounds so mean.
No, but I want to.
Yeah.
So it's not like
I think it's good for everyone. I
Mhm.
say that about myself. I'd say that about everyone should exercise if you're able, obviously.
Yeah.
And we were like listening to that radio show. He was like, you don't have to go to the gym and run. You could just start with walking. How about that? Just walk. I think we're all turning into couch potatoes, where
Yeah.
our default is to sit, and even standing and walking is us being in exercise mode.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's fair. Like, I feel like I could go to the gym most days, but I want to add more on top of that.
that's the problem. The gym, it seems so specialized and it seems so modern, and like, I don't want to be in this building for an hour a day, but it's just about living and creating an active lifestyle
Yeah.
outside of that.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely could improve on that.
Like, we're driving, and if we're not driving, often we're sitting on our computers or on our phones or in class
Yeah.
or in an office or something like that. So it's a big issue. Alicia,
Yes.
you're a Christian.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
That means living your life how Jesus would live his life and making your decisions all be rooted in the Bible.
Right.
So I feel like what my denomination teaches is to, root everything in the Bible and to spend time getting closer to God. So in meditation of the Word, so the Bible, in
Mhm.
prayer, and making every aspect of your life, reflect that. So be it in your,
Yeah.
mainly in your,
What are the concrete manifestations of this?
I think it is you become a kind of vessel for showing people what it means to be a godly person.
Mm-hmm.
So how you can show that is how you treat other people, how you react to situations. So when you're stressed, when you're excited, kind of just giving everything up to God.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how you, show compassion,
Interact
spend your
with other
time,
people.
everything like that. I feel like everything should be like a celebration of your
Not spending any time
circumstances.
thoughtlessly. Well said. I know you're going to ask me something really goofy now, just coming off the back of that. You're going to be like, what's your favorite color or something?
No, my next one is list your top 3 goals and 1 step to achieving each of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so equally.
Oh, my goals are going to
Intense.
sound, you just said such a spiritual like answer, and my goals are going to sound so worldly and egotistical. Do they have to be achievement-wise?
No, just like things you'd like, I don't know. It could be more like short term, because I know you have a lot of long-term goals, but
Short-term goals.
yeah.
Okay, my top 3 goals. I'm just going to go off the top.
Okay.
Number 1 goal is to finish my book,
Yes.
which has dragged on for about 4 years and looks very likely to drag on for another 4. The step to achieving this is to write. That's the main
Okay.
thing. Get that pencil in my hand and just write, which is the most difficult thing in the world for me because I really don't like writing. Another goal, grow this podcast
Okay.
and our accompanying Instagram content.
Yes.
Until we get to a point where where the type of content that we put out perfectly matches our own combined interests,
Hmm.
and where it is kind of our way of interacting with the world, I guess.
Yeah.
In a positive way of contributions.
Mm-hmm.
So that could include things like more scientific kind of interview content, where we think our role will probably be more like disseminating this kind of sometimes inaccessible science and bringing it down to people.
Yeah.
Or making it more accessible for people, rather. Or it could be more creative content or more social content, community type things. So yeah, I say growing the podcast is another goal. And third one would be just to, I don't know, become a better person, I guess, because the other two seem so physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, become a better person is the third one. I don't know.
What's the step to achieving that?
Oh, trying more.
Okay.
Again, I feel like the steps to anything are always really self-explanatory. It's like, oh, you want to write a book? The step is to write it. You want to become better? The step is to, be nicer. Did you have any goals? Just try one of them, because I just came up with 3. It's really difficult.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I thought I'd warm you up before I asked this question, and
No.
it seems to have worked. One of my goals is to be running again.
To run.
Because I ran a lot in the summer. I was increasing my capacity basically every week by a kilometer or 2. But then I came to school, and it's just so, I don't feel safe running outside here, but I don't like running inside. But I need to just start running inside because I do enjoy running. I always say I don't, because I don't inside and don't really in the city, but I like to when I'm home. And a step is to just start running.
See, it's easy.
Yeah.
But also so difficult.
Yeah.
Question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Question 7. If you had a time machine, when would you go to? You can go anytime in the future or the past. And you can come back. You can spend as much time as you want there, and you can come back. I feel like the best questions are the ones which provide a little bit more guidance, because when you have so much room to think, it's really difficult to come up with an answer.
Yeah,
that's why I gave you no guidance on this one.
Okay.
I just said
cool.
any time.
I feel like, here's my thinking. I would like to visit the 50s,
the 1950s?
The 1950s, yeah, the boom after the wars, and I feel like I would like to experience that kind of optimism. Yeah, because I have never experienced that. But I mean, there's so much bad that came out of that, and I don't like really much about that, the results of that time, or the.
You could go back and make it more environmental.
Yeah, so
that would be a great movie.
Yeah.
You know how people always say, going back and killing Hitler or something like that?
Yeah.
Going back and making things, stopping.
Greener.
Yeah. I think that's a cool idea.
So maybe there. Because I'd like to experience the optimism, but then I'd probably be the one killing it, so it probably wouldn't be very good. Or just go
You'd be there just being really cynical.
Yeah,
you build those nuclear power plants. See how that goes for you.
I don't know. There, or whatever Little Women was set.
Little Women?
Yeah.
During the
Go back and be a tutor or
during
something.
the Civil War. I think it was the 1850s.
I don't know.
1850s, the 1800s in the US.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That'd be interesting as well. But I don't really know. It's hard, because I feel anytime, if I actually had time to sit and think about it, most of the times that I'm aware of, or the eras that I know of, are very
sexist.
Oh yeah. Or very racist. There's not much in the past that would be a positive experience, I think, as a modern person.
True.
So maybe somewhere in the future, 100 years in the future, and just to be able to report back to everybody with pictures and say, either you did a good job, or we need to clean up our act.
Good point.
Yeah. My next question, number 8 for you, is ice cream or cookies, steak or bacon?
Okay. Really heavy.
This came off of yesterday. I was baking some oatmeal cookies, and I just used the recipe off the back of the oatmeal bag, and I didn't look at the list of ingredients. I just went ingredient by ingredient. I was this seems right. But then it was 3 cups of oats, 2 cups of chocolate chips, and it ended up making way more than I expected.
Yeah, what a shame.
Now
Too
I have
many
to
cookies.
Eat them all.
Wait, so is it all 4 of these against each other, or the two savory and the 2 sweet?
2 and 2.
So ice cream or cookies? I will go cookies. I like things I can just eat. Just eat with my hands, and eat them any time of year. I have kind of sensitive teeth, so I can't bite ice cream. It's not a big deal though.
You also don't like licking ice cream off the cone, though.
No, I like that.
I thought you said it was too messy.
Well, I get embarrassed.
Yeah,
but
you
I'll do it
wouldn't
by
do it in
myself.
front of me. Okay.
I'll just eat like a heathen some ice cream by myself.
Yeah. You served ice cream in the summer for your job, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And there
Sneak in some scoops?
No, I didn't. I was always, I got in trouble a couple times because I gave some huge scoops. But I don't know, I just thought it was the right thing to do
It's the summer
on really
vibes.
hot days.
Yeah. Do the right thing.
I'll say cookies because they're just easier to eat. I don't have to go to the freezer.
Don't
I
have
don't
to
have to
get
get a
a
spoon.
bowl.
Like none of that.
Yeah, steak or bacon.
This is a very unenvironmental question.
I know it is.
I'll say steak because bacon's kind of slightly more unhealthy.
Okay.
If you could make an environmental statement to everyone on Earth, so you just say like a couple sentences or something and everyone hears it, what would it be?
You need to change. Something like that. But it would have a little bit more
zip to it.
thought, a little bit more like, this is what you need to change. But like, you, no matter who you are, need to make a change for the sake of those who are less fortunate than you.
You'd say it to everybody?
I think so.
Okay.
Because everybody feels compassionate. Or, that's not true. But I mean, like, I feel like everyone should feel compassionate for those who are less fortunate than them.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there's always someone who has it worse.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you say, like, for the sake of your fellow humans, you need to reduce your environmental impact.
Yeah.
Because people don't think they need to change. They're like, no, it's the corporation. Of course it is the corporations which are the bigger issues, but I mean, like, you need to take responsibility. You need to take it into your own hands. Or else
the biggest
things
problem
aren't
is,
gonna change.
like, I like this question because it's a two-part thing, and it's what's something that you believe is really important, and also it's the second part is what would be effective if you could get it into everyone's ears.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a podcast, but we're with the awareness that not everyone on Earth is listening to it.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit more freedom, and we don't always have to be super motivational or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I was thinking about this. I don't know what I'd say, because a lot of it's already been said. Like Greta Thunberg says those things. Some politicians say those things. A lot of environmentalists say those things. I think you might have to go sneaky and kind of say kind of what you said, but also guilt them a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So say, you are being a bad person for this. Try and make a widespread association between unsustainability and, like, I guess, sinfulness. Like, try and make it clear that this is, like, it's a virtuous act to be sustainable.
That's what I was thinking. So I was kind of thinking,
appeal
like,
to people's ethics, basically, not just their kind of logical brain, because they'll.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, your complacency
Yeah.
is killing people.
We have to go
We're
emotional.
going to,
with
like, ruin future generations.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, even your complacency in, like, how you shop, but also your complacency in not trying to spread the message or change the politics.
I would help
change
you
the
write your
corporations.
statement.
Yeah, we could do a teamwork.
I think we could use some really, like, dramatic imagery. So basically describe the kind of apocalyptic wasteland to which we are hurtling if we don't all change our ways.
Yeah, get a little bit more virtuous.
It would sound very doomsday.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes people need a little bit of doomsday in their ears. I don't know what I'm saying. Your turn.
What, if anything, is too serious to joke about?
Is this the final question?
Yeah, I have one more.
I think a lot of things are too serious to joke about.
Okay, share them.
I don't want to. Some things are so bad I don't want to invoke them. I'll just say the reasoning.
Okay.
Because I understand why all through, well, I won't say all through time, but let's say all through until recently, comedians especially, were kind of very, very strong on this point that we should be able to joke about anything because otherwise it kind of gives it this aura, which we don't want to give it.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem, and I understand that completely, which is why I can sometimes laugh at those jokes.
Yeah.
But the problem with the internet is that it kind of puts a lot of people together who, in certain communities, who wouldn't laugh at those jokes and think it's serious or will take it seriously, even if it's blatantly meant comedically. So that's why I think sometimes it's irresponsible for comedians to make jokes about, let's say, climate change or racism, sexism, or anything even worse. I don't think those things should be like really heavily policed, like PC culture. I don't think that's a good thing either. But I think definitely people should be more responsible what they say, given their audience sometimes.
Because they have no control over how their statements are taken, and they could become a leader for something that they were trying to pose, or like a icon for that thing.
Yeah. For instance, well, a lot of like online kind of far right movements, and there's kind of Nazi communities and stuff, they have agendas, and that their goals are to use comedy and memes and things like this to normalize such behavior.
Yeah.
That's documented, and it's really people ignoring that and saying, it's just jokes, it's just comedy. I think that's really...
No, normalizing it is, I think, the right word, not doing that.
Now, I think like laughing at those people is definitely an effective tool. I think that's a positive thing. Like, Jojo Rabbit was like a satire making fun of Hitler. I think that's 100% a good thing.
Yeah.
But
because it's making clear fun of him. It's not glorifying it or...
But when your joke is basically something really racist and you say it's a joke, it's like, no, that's not for me. I don't know.
So lots of things.
Was that the last question?
No, I have one more.
Okay. So question 9 for you. What do you see for the future of fashion?
I think...
Because I know you're watching Next in Fashion on Netflix.
Yes.
So who was the lady who won?
It was... Oh, what was her name? I remember. She was from Korea.
You're right.
South Korea.
I watched this finale with you.
Yes, what was her name?
I don't remember.
Yeah. She was incredible. I knew from the very first episode that she would win. She's just... The pattern she would come up with. But anyway, I think the future of fashion is a lot more transparent layers. This has been a trend for like a while, since like the 80s, people being like, oh yeah, transparency, like with the see-through like Game Boy and stuff. Maybe that wasn't the 80s. When was that?
Yeah, I think it was the 90s.
90s, and like stuff, and like the see-through rain ponchos and stuff. But I can see it being more complex, transparent layers. I feel like that's gonna be it. Not just like a mesh top over like an undershirt or a bra, but like mesh top over another mesh top over a plastic. Like,
right.
I can see more layers, because I feel like things need to be more versatile. So you can wear something on its own, or you can wear it with like 3 other things, depending on the weather. And it also just kind of is a reflection of the like modern trend towards just kind of there being no specific style. So it's like you could wear this like clear raincoat, say, over like any era you want to, but it would still be like fitting the modern trend by just adding this layer.
I like that.
I don't know. That's what I see.
Filters, basically. Wearable filters, kind of.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you could change one thing about the modern world, what would it be? This is kind of similar to what's one people should...
Right.
I think people should do more of.
But
like,
this isn't a behavioral thing?
No, this is just like a thing.
Can I alter this question? Let me set the parameters. I can remove the thing or add the thing, and no one will remember it. And kind of the world around it will just kind of clean up so it was never really there or needs to be there.
Okay.
I would just get rid of the internet in total.
Okay.
I think its negatives really kind of outweigh its positives. That might be me speaking as kind of like a privileged, born geographically kind of privileged, so I would have access to education otherwise, even without it. Whereas a lot of people, the internet, it gives you Wikipedia. It's a free kind of huge library of information, which a lot of people in the world otherwise wouldn't be able to get. And I understand that.
Yeah, but I imagine if the internet had never arisen, more infrastructure would have for education.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, and
So basically, the Zuckerberg, if there's no internet, instead of putting so much effort and money into floating Wi-Fi balloons over like underdeveloped countries, would instead be building libraries in those countries or something like that.
Yeah.
I really think that we're kind of in the middle of the internet, of people affected by the internet, but I think when you take it to its extreme, I think its bad effects on people will show even further. And it's not just social media is negative, we should take breaks from it, whatever. I really think it kind of...
It's how we're educating ourselves.
It takes us away from a physical world and puts us in a virtual one.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No.
So that's what I would change. What would you change?
I would get rid of cars. It's just what I would do.
Because that would change basically the way we live. It would change...
The infrastructure, the layout of cities, everything.
Yeah, it would change how the world is laid out.
It's kind of similar to the internet, like removing convenience to allow people to be more connected with the physical world, which they're currently harming due to their disconnect with it.
Yeah, I want to add one thing to my answer.
Okay.
So the worst thing about the modern world is the internet, and we should really all get rid of it, but also listen to our podcast. Don't forget that.
Okay. Don't forget it. It's important. Do you have one more?
Yes. What will be your role in making change?
I think my role will be redesigning the language, imagery.
Helping to redesign, or just
helping
doing it by yourself?
Helping to redesign the language, imagery, and mediums in which environmental messages are conveyed.
Yeah, I like that.
Because
Very
I feel like
concise.
right now it's communicated in a way that makes it seem like a kind of cult.
Yeah, it's kind of tribal.
And it's like,
Insular.
you need to look at the different groups of people. Like, we're not going to just become a homogenous environmental society where we need to tailor the message for different groups of people.
Well said.
Yeah.
I like that, because basically anyone who's environmental right now, that's what they are. It's like, I'm green, I'm an environmentalist, that's what's in my...
I wear all beige and burlap.
Yeah, that's what's in my, Instagram bio. I'm an environmentalist, or a zero waste, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But I like what you said, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we need to reach out, find ways to communicate it. I would probably focus on the people that I'm closest to, so Christian groups, fashion...
People.
Yeah. I don't know. But I think I want to be like a leader in that way of thinking.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So that was 20 questions with the Environmental Podcast.
Yeah, getting to know Aaron and Alicia a little bit better.
Anything else you want to say, or should we head out?
No, I think this was good. I think it's fun. Maybe we can do it again sometime. We used to always ask each other a lot of questions when we first started dating. It was like, I was just thinking about this morning. I was like, I asked you what percent milk you like, and you said 0.5, and you meant skim, but I thought you meant 50%, and that just cracks me up.
Yeah, you thought I meant 50% milk, which would basically be
just
beef.
Butter. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really want to taste that. So thanks for listening to the Environmental Podcast. We have new episodes every Monday, and on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Our Instagram features some very cool, recently scientific content, also a lot of nature imagery and general reminders to get off of Instagram.
Yeah.
And that is @the_environmental.
So follow us there for episode announcements and what Aaron just said.
Yeah. Hope you all have a great day. See ya.